later. That's not so. When I stop 6 p.m. I can charge like 4 hours.
Two types of 3D printers are available. We will start with the creative printer on your right. This is the creative 3D printer. It's a user-friendly type of printer. The creative 3D printer is able to build any machine or equipment you've ever dreamed of. It doesn't require any resource or power, and the printing duration is very short. The printer uses blueprints for printing an item. Blueprints are detailed construction diagrams that expand what the printer can build. Each object requires its corresponding blueprint to be printed. They must be stored in the printer's inventory. Open the printer's inventory by holding the Use key while pointing at it. This is the Creative 3D printer's inventory. Blueprints come as data disks. They must be stored in the data disk slots. Note that if you filter machines, then printers, you will access the list of objects required for building your own larger modular printer. Equipped with a construction tool, the modular printer is built the same way as a base. Now, let's have a look at the printer menu. First, close the Creative 3D printer inventory. Open the printer menu by pressing the Use key while looking at it.
All these problems. Access the printer menu by pressing the E key while looking at it. E 3D printer menu. Where is the printer?
The Creative 3D printer is able to build any machine or equipment you've ever dreamed of. It doesn't require any. This is the Creative 3D printer menu, where you have access to the printable items, depending on the corresponding blueprint stored in the printer inventory. On the left side of the screen is a filter panel that allows you to browse through the different categories of items. Select any filter to continue. Selecting a category displays the list of related objects in the central panel. Go deeper in the filters to refine your selection. Selecting an object will show us details on the right side of the menu. You can also see the Create button that initiates the printing process of the selected object. A holographic image represents the object currently printed. This helps you assess its actual size and also serves as a safety to avoid printing objects larger than the available space around the printer. That's all you need to know about the Creative 3D printer. Good job! Now the last part with the modular 3D printer. Close the printer. Now it's time to proceed to the modular 3D printer.
I don't know where I open. I should make all this machines, make furnitures. Okay, let me make some furnitures. This all kind of stuff.
The modular 3D printer is a realistic printing device. Firstly, its size can be increased by adding more pieces to a basic small modular printer. Edge, base, ramp extension, resources slots edge, etc. The larger the size, the bigger and more complex objects it can print. Secondly, it needs different types of resources for printing, depending on the object. Slots are available for plugging in any type of resources barrel. Objects that require more resources or a bigger printer are clearly indicated. Let's print something. Open the modular printer menu by pressing the Use key while looking at the control panel. This menu is similar to the creative printers. The main difference lies in the required resources for printing, as indicated at the bottom right. Note that if you filter machines, then printers, you will access the list of objects required for building your own larger modular printer. Equipped with the construction tool, the modular printer is built the same way as a base. Now, choose the object you wish to print and create it. A printing time is required, depending on the object. The bigger, the longer. Do remember that you will need to enlarge the modular printer piece by piece for printing very large objects. Even a huge vehicle like a cargo truck can be built, provided that enough resources are available. Congratulations for completing the machines training. That wasn't easy, but you managed it like a pro. Surviving on Mars should now be no problem. You can now pursue your training by using the board. Firstly, its size can be increased by adding more pieces to a basic small modular printer. Edge, base, ramp extension, resources slots edge, etc. The larger the size, the bigger and more complex objects it can print. Secondly, it needs different types of resources for printing, depending on the object. Slots are available for plugging in any type of resources barrel. Objects that require more resources or a bigger printer are clearly indicated.
That's a small 3D printer.
The Creative 3D printer is able to build any machine or equipment you've ever dreamed of. It doesn't require any resource or power, and the printing duration is very short. The RTG is an electrical generator utilizing the thermoelectric effect. The electricity is produced through the conversion of the heat released by the decay of radioactive material. Despite an output of only a few hundred watts, the half-life of the used isotope provides the capacity for a constant power supply spanning many years. It is provided with two standard output sockets and a standard display. Let's plug in the power cable. We are going to use the RTG shortly. Power cables have a red end and a green end. The red is for input, for example to a machine producing energy like the RTG, and the green is for output, for example to a machine requiring energy like the communications tower. Observe the sockets on each machine. The color code will inform you about the correct connection, red to green or green to red. You can unwind the cable by clicking on the spool with the unwind key. To rewind the cable, just grab the cable and hold onto the spool, then press the same key again. The solar array is made of two panels that convert the solar power to electricity, utilizing the photovoltaic effect. Two additional batteries can store up to several kilowatts per hour of electricity. One solar array can generate over 2 times more power than the RTG. However, its efficiency depends exclusively on the amount of solar energy available. It's also provided with 2 output sockets and a power display. Now plug in that cable to connect the solar array to the power hub. The power hub has 6 red input sockets on the right and 6 green output sockets on the left. It allows you to connect a maximum of 6 power generators to the input sockets and distribute power to up to 6 machines via the output sockets. The display on the left shows the sum of power generated in the electricity network, or grid, expressed in watts. The right shows the current electricity load. The bottom line informs about the power stored in the hub batteries and the estimated load duration. As you can see behind you, You can connect several hubs together to reduce the amount of cables needed for supplying the machines with electricity. Plug that cable to an input socket before we move on. The topsoil extractor uses a flexible hose to gather the surface of the soil, in the same way as a vacuum cleaner. The extracted resource is collected into barrels that must be plugged in prior to its usage. It has 2 input sockets for its energy supply, such as a standard display informing about its energy usage. The large topsoil extractor, like this one, proposes 4 barrel plugs. A small version, less energy demanding, embarks only 1 plug. Use that cable to supply the topsoil extractor so we can use it. The atmosphere is drawn in through an air pump and redirected into resource barrels that collects the air. The large atmospheric processor accepts up to 5 barrel plugs, whereas the small energy-efficient atmospheric processor proposes 1 plug only. Connect the cable so we can collect the Earth atmosphere.
Yes, I just have a look around before I leave. Because when I get up to Mars, I can maybe not remember.
A twist drill bit penetrates the crust with a fast rotation. The raw material is then lifted up through a borehole via the cutting edges. The extracted rock is stored into barrels.
That's the refinery.
The materials refinery has 2 main functions. It can either split complex materials into their constituent components, or it can synthesize compounds from core materials. Input and output slots are located on each side of the refinery. The large materials refinery comes with 3 input and 5 output slots. The small one has respectively 2 input and 3 output slots. A control panel allows for the operations of the desired reaction. Plug in the cable so we can start to put our hands on this machine. 2 input slots for transferring from a barrel into the tank, and 2 output slots for collecting the stored resource into individual barrels, plus a simple display for capacity monitoring. It's as simple as that. Let's completely fill that oxygen barrel. Plug it into an output slot of the resource tank.
Let's just have one more look. I'm dosing a little bit, like I'm driving the truck. Yes, dosing, that's like sleeping a little bit. More habitats, learn to build and survive in SMEG.
Here you'll learn about the habitable base and how to build one. To build any base, you need foundations. We've prepared a small building for you to finish.
Yes, base building. Building a habitable base is one of the main survival needs on Earth. Yes. Habitat base building. And then you get up, you need to do
An optimal building goes from inside out and bottom up. Finishing with the corner pieces should provide the best results. Start with the middle floor piece. To assemble the block, first pick it up with the Use key.
Oh, that's the wrong one. I have to drop it.
Then equip the construction tool with the Equip key.
Oh. Pick up the object with the Use key, equip the tool, the K. Yes.
Once the construction tool is equipped, you see all the connection slots of the block and structural leak points on your HUD. Matching connection slots on built blocks and held blocks will be displayed as well. The manipulation of objects is performed with the mouse. To rotate an object, hold the Pitch Roll Rotate key or the Yaw Rotate key and move the mouse. You can also use the 90-degree rotation keys with help located in the top left corner of your HUD.
Oh no. Rotate objects by holding the rotate pitch roll key, R or yaw.
Congratulations, you've placed your very first block. Continue with the other 2 floor blocks. When the construction tool is equipped, leak points are represented by red warning triangles on your HUD.
Yes, you have to one more floor piece. Gonna stay in the queue is the tool. Just need one more piece. Grab. Let's move it around.
Once all the floor pieces are placed, continue with the wall blocks. Remember that the ideal way to place wall pieces is from corner to corner.
Yes, we need these pieces. Yes, I have to turn it right. No, that was right, like there. No. Turn it like there. Then the corner piece. Yes, that's a problem because everything is new in the game. Yes, that's the floor. Okay, I think then there.
The last part to do is the entrance. For this particular one, build the door frame first and then add the single door. This is the easiest way to seal the base, but also the most ineffective one. That's because each time you depressurize the door, you leak all the oxygen from inside.
Yes, now what? One more piece. I think I got a text message. Yes, I think this doors is something you have to print on the 3D printer. Yes. Oh, I think I need to turn it around. like there.